Okay, so I realized it's been way too long since I've posted a video. So I'm forcing myself to do it. And as usual, I'm starting it off with a walk to get coffee off on them grave. Let go. And I'm doing it with the weighted vest for a little extra challenge. My walk was a few hours ago, I'll be honest. But I am now working on Baby, which is my metal game engine. So I have a bit of a cough from some allergies. It's not the C word. I'm clean from that, but struggling a little bit. So, but trying to get this, trying to get 3D models working in the engine right now. Right now it's looking pretty good. Let's take a look. Let's run it. And yeah, that's supposed to be a mushroom from a tutorial I downloaded. So obviously something's wrong here. So let's figure it out. And I don't know if I showed this in the last video, but now there's the ground. Cool. So the issue right here is just that it's using the vertex attribute from the floor. So I think I just need to figure out a way to get the vertex attributes to use the correct ones. So what I was doing before was, I believe in the renderer, I have two different pipeline states. So one for vertex pipeline states, and that's for a model that uses vertex attributes, so this stuff. And then I have another one that is just called pipeline state. I think I should just change this to, this is the ground one actually, so I'm gonna change that, be called ground. And then I need one for 3D models. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, to be honest. 3D pipeline state. I heard that it is fairly efficient to switch pipeline states between render. It just takes time to create them, so I'm just creating them at the beginning and then switching them when we render. So we have a vertex descriptor. So a vertex descriptor just describes how the vertex data is formed when it's sent to the GPU. So going to set this to, I believe I had another vertex descriptor. Yeah, so I had this self dot model 3D pipeline state that. Okay, and then I have to just create a new one. So I am not doing a good job explaining this because I don't know if it's gonna work. So basically I'm just like giving it a different descriptor. Cannot assign a vertex. Oh, I did vertex function, not descriptor. Yeah, basically I'm just switching it using the same descriptor. This is how you create a pipeline state. A lot of things in Metal use this like descriptor pattern. So you describe what you want using a descriptor, and then you create what you need from that descriptor. So I'm using the same descriptor, but just changing the vertex data descriptor. And here, I'm so sorry. So, this is different name. So actually, it doesn't matter what I set this as. Actually, I think I can delete this line because I'm setting it in here. So I believe this should change nothing, but I will need to pass that into the scene render. Yeah, I'm correct. So going to change this render function to pipeline state. So I'm gonna have to edit that shit out. All right, let's see. And then so we're passing this stuff in. We have a mod. I want to change this to ground pipeline state, and here. So I have 2 types of models right now. I'm gonna need 3. So I want to have like one for model IO, which is what you use to load the models, and then vertex, which is when it uses the vertex attributes, just the this class that I created, or struct that I created. All it is just sending in the location of each vertex, along with normals and text coordinates, texture coordinates. And so we're gonna say ground. Oops. Okay, I'm using the new Xcode, so it is has some new stuff in there. All right, let's see. This guy, we want to say all 3 pipeline state case ground. This will be, and then pass this in render encoder set your pipeline state ground pipeline state. So it should be one more error. So I'm gonna say that. No. And I'm missing one. So it's still gonna have the wrong textures. Yes, so well actually no, this is wrong because the ground is missing now. Oh, I think I know why. So I have to actually set this plane type to ground. Beautiful. We have a floating mushroom. So think I want to move this this very phallic looking mushroom to be on the ground though. But basically, so that under resources, so I have this mushroom here that I downloaded, and this is it. So it is missing the textures. So the next thing I want to do is add the textures to it. But first, let's go ahead and commit those changes. state. And then I need another Halls. I'm struggling. Look at what I do for y'all. Lastly, okay, so where I get these textures from? Actually, I'm gonna go over what I've done since the last video. That was like over a month ago. So I don't know if I covered this. I did a refactor. So I moved I moved a lot of this stuff to its own classes. So we have a game scene. This holds all like the models. It loads the textures. Mouse location holds the camera and the controls. Camera class was already there, I believe, in the last video. But that's basically what moves things around. There's two different types. There's one where you can fly around, and then what I'm using right now is an FPS camera. So it's the same except you're on the ground. And then we have our controls here. All it does is check for keyboard and mouse events. And I have this transformation here, which is basically just the matrices for the camera to update where things are. I have 3 different model classes. I have a cube, which I just pass in raw vertex data. A model 3D, which is just a 3D model, which is that mushroom. All it does is load it from the bundle. And then I have a plane, which is just a flat texture. So that would be the ground. And I have a class for loading textures. All it does is call this load texture, grabs a texture from the bundle, loads it, and then puts in a dictionary. And then vertex is just the position, the normals, and then the UV, which is the texture coordinates. And then it has a vertex descriptor for sending data to the shaders. My shaders have not changed all that much. I just have the lighting calculations as I did before. And then I also have a common class, so I don't have to define the light structs in multiple places. And same thing with here, we have vertex data transformation, which is declared in 2 places, I'm realizing. This is what's passing to the fragment shader. This is a material that has a diffuse, specular, and shiny component. I said that last time. Yeah, and we just have our assets here. So we have the stuff for this is a specular component of the box, the diffuse component, and then the specular version of ground and the diffuse component of ground. To calculate lighting, we do not have that for the mushroom. So I have to figure out how to get the textures on there. I'm not 100% sure, but you know, we're learning as we go along. But we got our floating Pinar here. Gonna probably off video figure out how to get this stuff working, and then I will check in again later. it is the next day, same shirt, different do-rag. Okay, so I got the 3D model working with the correct texture. I haven't made it so it's not floating in midair anymore. And notice how it is a lot brighter than the other things in the scene. The reason is the floor and the box have two different textures, one for diffuse lighting and one for specular lighting, so like shiny lighting. This one only has one texture. So in the shader, I'm not calculating the lighting model, the lighting calculations, if there is no specular texture. All I'm doing is sampling the one texture and then taking the color from that. I apologize, still coughing. Let me grab a Halls. I don't know why I said Halls like that. Okay, so and what I did to put that texture on there, all I did was I grabbed the texture from the what's it called? The Blender file. Well, I didn't actually make this, but there's a tutorial to make this on codecode.com. But anyway, I got the texture, put it in my asset catalog, and then I use my texture loading function to load it here, pass it into a model along with the name, and send it over to the fragment shader. I also added these params. Right now it only has one thing. It's just whether it has a specular texture. I send that over, and everything else is the same, just rendering it normally. And that's how we got that. Okay, so next video, what I'm going to do is hopefully implement some more advanced textures, possibly physically based rendering to make this look a little bit more realistic. Adding things like normals and ambient occlusion, different stuff like that baked into the actual textures. The way physically based rendering works is you layer a bunch of different textures with different information on them on top of each other, on top of your thing. That way you can calculate things like well, you don't have to calculate things like normals and ambient occlusion and blah blah blah. Ambient occlusion is just like shadows in like the smaller parts. So like if this box had like a if this part around the outside was like raised, there would be like a little bit of shadows underneath it, which it looks like there actually is baked into the texture. But to make that look more realistic, we can bake it into the actual texture and use it to calculate that stuff instead of just like painting it onto the texture. So stay tuned for that. So thank you for watching. I will, you know, I'm gonna promise I'm going to pinky swear that I'm gonna start being more consistent with videos. All right, thank you for watching. I'm Maddie. Bye bye.